From Traverse City, Michigan, this is Real Fairies Radio. In our experience, fairies are real, and we're here to talk about them. I'm Natalie Lynn, and this is my sister.
And I'm Susan Hajar. And yes, they certainly are real.
So, we said it. Fairies are real. To some of you, this is old news, especially those who are familiar with our website, realfairies.net. To others, this may be a bit out there, but we're hoping you'll keep an open mind as we take you on this journey. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our second podcast. Today, we'll be talking about pixies, the small winged fae that many people think of when they hear the word fairy. When we asked on our blog at realfairies.net what you really wanted to know about pixies, you generously responded with lots of wonderful questions. In this episode of Real Fairies Radio, we'll do our best to get those questions answered by Queen Emerald, who rules over the Pixie Nation of Fyn, and Mr. E, who has a close connection with pixies himself. Afterwards, just like our previous podcast, our last segment will feature Mr. E answering audio questions you have recorded for him on our website. If you just happened upon our second podcast and don't know who Mr. E is, or who we are for that matter, I urge you to listen to our first podcast entitled How It All Began. There, we explain our connection to Mr. E in the fairy realm and why he is here talking with us. Before we get started on your questions, let's listen to a conversation I had a while back with Mr. E about his first meeting with Queen Emerald, who, as I mentioned earlier, rules over the Pixie Nation of Fyn.
Back when I was younger, and I was climbing a tree, because that's what elves do. For fun, they climb trees. And all of a sudden I saw a spot in the tree that didn't look like it should. It didn't look right to me. My elfie senses, went off, and I was going, oh, wait a second.
Something doesn't look normal.
And I was thinking, there's some magic afoot. And sure enough, the cloak that she had put on the thing had lifted, and there was this miraculous city.
Well, it must have been a fairly large tree.
Very large tree, which I was in, but I was on a limb, and it was further on in, yes, And I'm looking up at it, and it just amazed me. And then, as they're curious about me, as I am about them, at that point, they revealed themselves, and then...
they weren't concerned?
No, because they could tell, I didn't have any weapons.
Right.
And I was just a child,
But you're still big enough to do some damage.
I could do some damage, but, look at it this way. Would you really want to mess with a beehive with your bare hand?
Not if you're smart, but not everybody is.
Well, elves generally are.
Are that smart, at least.
I mean, they're not dumb. I mean, they're not like, totally out of their mind.
Can you give me your impressions, what it looked like?
Oh, it was miraculous. I was just impressed with the details and the handyship of just the fact that they're so small.
But they're small, so...
I know, but it's like looking upon...
A replica?
Yes. Or like somebody who had built a dollhouse in fine detail. So fine that it's real.
Was it made of wood? Or?
Yes, lots of things were made out of wood. Some were made out of little pieces of fabric here and there that they threw about.
You mean like for awnings and
like
stuff?
Awnings, banners, and whatnot.
Yeah,
they had things...
the buildings themselves were made of wood.
They were woods and stones.
Was it like a castle? Or
well, yes, it was. Once they lifted the veil, you could see that it wasn't just the castle area, but there were little houses off on the little limbs and all
buildings
over.
all over the place.
Yes, there's all kinds of places,
Was it shining or looking different than most?
Yes, it was glimmering kind of a little bit with their glimmery dust thing, because you could see that their dust was like somebody has sprinkled glitter everywhere, like a little tiny haze of it everywhere.
Were the buildings painted? Colors?
Yes, of many different colors.
So was it colorful is what I'm saying?
Yes, it was colorful.
Or was it meant to blend in?
When they want to blend, they cloak. And they keep it cloaked for most of the time. I was a visitor, and I didn't even know I was visiting. And then what happened was, as soon as the crowd lifted, I could see some troops come out, and the queen came out and introduced herself to me directly. And we developed our friendship at that age. And I was that age, and she was much older, of course, but...
She came out like... there like a drawbridge or something? Or where did she come out?
Well, no, they fly,
Yeah.
So it's not like they need to walk. There were some guards with her that flew in front of her, and then they sort of parachutes, and she came in and then said hello to me, and she was talking to me, and she says, "This is my kingdom." She says, "I know it's a kingdom within a kingdom, but I just want to explain myself to you, and this, that, and the other."
Did she know who you were?
Yes, she figured it out.
How?
Well, my clothes were giveaway.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Especially as a child, they always parade you around in things that are definitely...
Tag you.
Yeah, they definitely... Oh, that's the prince. Yeah. And she was offering me advice and stuff, and we just we started up a rapport, and I was thinking, here are all these little creatures, and here I am this big creature, and I can do things so easily that they couldn't do. So what I decided to do was a child. I went and I got a big basket, and I picked like a whole bunch of berries, and I did it for them, and I left it for them. Nice. I mean, that was like, a great present for them, because it's not as easy for them. For me, it's no big deal. So I did little things like that.
So you would go there kind of regularly whenever you felt like it?
When I could.
When you had something to give them.
Yeah.
Was it mostly her that you talked to?
I became close to her, and I met all the other ones that were there as well. But you see, as I've grown up, and they know me, and we all became very close, and that's why you've got some pixies right here.
Some months ago, I was very fortunate to be able to talk with Queen Emerald when my sister Susan channeled her. For those who aren't familiar with Susan's channeling process, I again urge you to listen to our first podcast. This interview was originally done for our upcoming book, Interviews with the Fairy Realm, and it was over 2 hours long. Today, we're going to share a few select portions of the interview that pertain to questions you've asked. I personally liked Queen Emerald very much. She was kind and thoughtful and considerate, but I never for a moment forgot I was speaking to a queen. Here, in a high, wee voice, she talks, among other things, about the common misconception that pixies are devas who help flowers and other plants grow.
I'd like to clear up a lot of things about pixies. You're not this little frail things you might see as us.
A lot of people do not know
No, they think that, put them in a jar kind of thing. What they don't realize is that once you put one of us in a jar, if you can do that, we have telepathy with our other hive members.
And you use the word hive.
In a way, it's a hive, but it's more a community. It's not like we all have one brain.
But you're all working together.
We all work together, very much so. And so if one of us is in trouble, the rest will take in.
So an action against one is an
it's
action.
Against all, yes.
What is your relationship to nature? Some people think, honestly, that you are like a deva, that you work with plants and you love to help them grow. And
I think it's funny they think we're devas.
You do?
We are not devas. We know the devas, and we communicate with them all the time.
Which may be where the confusion comes in.
Maybe because we're close to them, they think that we're them.
Right. Especially if they see them and you and can't see you both distinctly, that they might think that you're the same.
Right, but we're not.
I know. It's just a matter of perception.
Devas they have their own job. And their job and their own focus is just that one thing. Get that plant healthy, get it growing. That's it.
And that's a big job. So they don't have time for anything else.
Nothing else.
Right. First of all, what do pixies eat? Cream?
We love creams.
Milk and cream?
Creams, nectar, lots of nectars. So a lot of high sugar content because we burn a lot of energy.
People want to know what to leave out for pixies to attract them and make friends with them. And that would be...
Milk is great. Sweet things.
Basically what we just talked about?
Yes. Ice cream.
Ice cream? You like that? That's kind of a combination of all those things, isn't it? Cream, sweetness.
Of everything you like.
Yeah. Do you forage?
We forage for berries and stuff like that, pieces of berries. It depends on how we feel, and then there are times we take it and we smash it down and make our own little wines out of berries and stuff like that, and drinks.
Let's take, for example, a strawberry. They can be kind of big.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have help cut them up and then take them back somewhere and work with them?
Mm-hmm. It's labor intensive. Yeah. And we have things that little stones, we grind things up and...
Like grains?
Yeah, or even the berries.
So do you eat grains like bread?
Yes, we make little grains and little breads.
Okay, you do. You do cook.
Kind of like that. Yes, we cook a little bit. We do work with fire or spark, so to speak. We call it spark because, what we consider fire, people would never consider fire.
They would just see a little spark or something.
Exactly.
Because it's smaller.
And we work with lots of magic, and sometimes, we don't need to cook. We just alter the energy.
Of course, that makes sense. It seems people have seen pixies of various sizes. Can you tell me how big pixies are?
We have the strange ability to... it's hard to explain. How do I explain this? sometimes our size can change.
You can alter your size.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
So does that mean that your body isn't very dense?
Exactly.
It's a lighter body.
Yes. Well, we are physical, but we're sometimes not.
But you have control over that?
Yes.
So you can alter your size when it's convenient.
Right.
But does that mean that your normal resting state is larger?
It's a little bit larger.
About this big?
Yes.
Okay, so you're about 5 inches, maybe. I don't have a ruler.
Maybe more 4, but we can go down to this big.
Like 1 inch.
Yeah, very small, yes.
And the advantage to that is?
Well, you could get into places you couldn't get into otherwise. And for transportation.
Okay, that too.
But, we'll go to full size if we have to go to war.
So you're shapeshifters?
Yes, we're shifters. Shifters. That's the word I'm looking for.
Okay. But you don't shift into another shape as such.
No. It's still the same shape.
You shrink and expand.
Exactly. We shrink and expand.
Huh. That's interesting. What is pixie dust?
Well, pixie dust, we're very strange creatures. Unlike you, we give off this thing, this energy. And sometimes the energy turns into a dust. And we keep it, we consider it sacred because it's part of our energy. But sometimes if I sat in a room for a while, you'd see like a little ring around me because I give off the energy dust.
And you can do things with this because it is energy.
Yes, it is. It is energy. It's magical in itself because we're so magical.
And I think Mr. E has told us that they can be lots of different colors.
Yes, and sometimes when we fly, you can see the streams.
Yes. What determines the color? Is it random or is
it depends on the pixie.
So a certain pixie will be able to do one color.
Maybe.
Or more than
exactly.
one.
Might focused on one color and go for that color.
What is the thing about color? Is it vibration?
Oh, yes.
So you must be green.
Yes, I'm a green.
Work with green.
I work with green colors.
That doesn't mean your skin is green, right?
No.
But what you produce is green.
Yes.
I get it.
Green sparklies.
Here we have a concept, we've romanticized pixies a lot, and we have concepts that you have a magic wand that also does that has stuff coming out of it.
We can use wands, but...
Does it have dust coming out of it?
No, nothing like...
Right.
That's
what I'm saying.
It might seem like that because we've got dust coming off of us all the time.
It's not coming from the wand.
There's not a little star at the end of the tip, no.
Okay, so you carry the pixie dust around with you in a pouch, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then if you want to take it out and use it for something, right?
If you need more than what you have, yes.
And what do you have on you is coming through your hands?
All right, or your just body, your whole thing. This comes
but
off
you have to have it somewhere collected together, don't you?
Well, yeah, you'd pick it up in your pouch and energize it for whatever it's supposed to do, and out the way it goes. Yeah.
Yes. When I spoke to the Gehrings, they said they spent a lot of time frolicking. That's the word they use. They play a lot. Would you say that's true for pixies or not?
I say that we're actually the opposite. We have our playful moments, but we have a different setup of society.
I agree. They have very simple buildings, if they have any, and they spend a lot of time by the water playing. That's fine for them, but that's not what you guys do.
No. We have our own buildings and stuff, and...
Do you have art?
Some of us like art.
You guys make music?
Mm-hmm. Our singers. Pixie singing.
Do you have gatherings, rituals?
We all do that too, and sometimes even humans have caught us.
You go in a circle and you dance.
Mm-hmm.
What is the purpose of that?
It's unifying. And the cone of power.
You're building power.
Yes. And not only that, it's the symbol unity more than anything else. They're always done during wedding.
Always?
Yes.
What about the solstice and all that?
Yes, that's different though.
It's not the same?
No, it's a different dance.
But you do that.
Mm-hmm.
In the solstice, for example, do you also do a dance in the circle and build power?
Yeah, we build power by dancing, but it's not always a circle.
No?
It's not the same kind of circle. It's a different circle.
Isn't a circle a circle?
A circle is a circle, but sometimes it's a spiral. Sometimes sometimes it's a spiral that's sealed off. Sometimes it's open. There's little circles together and...
At the same time?
Yes, different things. There's different...
Do you have circles that kind of overlap each other, and so it gets very complicated?
Exactly. Depends on the situation and what we're doing the dance for.
Is magic involved?
Always. The dancing is always to raise the energy, no matter what it is. And if you want to raise the energy, you do the dance for this to raise this energy, dance for that to raise that energy.
What type of energy do you
Well,
raise?
if you wanted the crops to grow and you wanted lots of wheat, you do the wheat dance.
Oh, so you're creating outcomes.
Yes. We've all noticed these guys on your side, the Native Americans.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we
They do rain dances. It's the same thing.
Okay, so in a way you are working with nature that way. Remember the Deva question?
Yes. It's very confusing, but we are not devas.
No, I know. But you are also petitioning nature for certain outcomes.
Yes.
Is it
because it's our livelihood. That's how we survive.
Are you creating the energy and then sending it to the crops?
Whatever
if
we
that
have
was,
to do.
If that was what you wanted?
If that's what we wanted, if that's what we needed. If we needed rain, we sometimes have our own rain dance.
Mm-hmm.
If you needed to stop raining because it's drowning us, there's that dance, there's all kinds. That's how we just do things. And because of the way we are, the dances aren't always done on the ground. They're done on the air.
Makes sense.
And, with different colors and streams. And
that would be really pretty.
Yes, I'm sure it's quite something to see for you.
I bet it is. Is it always a nature-related kind of issue? Or do you do things, for example, for protection?
We do things for protection if we have to worry about,
war and stuff.
Yeah. We're making sure that our area is not seen, so that they won't notice us.
So you can kind of cloak your home.
We can cloak a whole city if we put our minds to it.
Queen Emerald will be back near the end of the podcast for one last segment where she'll talk about why pixies so often visit our world and why they may or may not be interested in communicating with humans. For now, we're going to have Mr. E answer some of the pixie questions that we didn't get to ask Queen Emerald. Here he is, talking about one of his favorite subjects, pixies. Okay, can pixies make themselves look like other things such as bugs or animals? If so, how do you know if it's really a pixie?
No, they can't. They can communicate through animals, especially dragonflies and butterflies.
So, pixies work with dragonflies.
They work with dragonflies and butterflies. Humans have dogs, they've got dragonflies and butterflies. They're like very close friends to them. They're like very affectionate towards them.
Okay, can pixies or fairies in general sense your intentions? Do they know if you're being sincere or not?
Oh, yes.
There's certainly an energy around that.
Yeah. They can sense things. Kind of pull a wool over their eyes.
No. How do I know if a pixie has bad intentions? Is there a way to keep those with bad intentions away? Pixies would be unlikely.
You're not going to run across any rogue pixies like that. The humans won't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just not something that they'd be messing with. In our world, yes, we come across them many a time. They're more like spies and whatnot, which is what we use hearts for too. The good ones.
Yes, in fact. Even if it is a negative, dark pixie, it's not going to have a lot of impact, is it, really?
Not really. Not unless there's a crowd of them.
Right. And they're usually solitary if they're in that kind of situation, I think.
Yes, you're not going to find, unless you have a swarm of them, you won't have a problem.
Which I suppose there are some places in the world that happens. But
and then you got to be careful, watch your back.
Then you'll know.
For God's sake.
Yeah, it's like disturbing a hornet's nest. You need to back away.
Oh, yeah, you need to make sure you don't touch that hornet's nest at all. It's not a little damage.
No, and that is really the strength of the Pixie Nation.
Yes, exactly. It's not a little damage at all.
Right.
And you really cannot look at them as small and insignificant because they really aren't.
Correct.
You must respect them.
But as far as keeping any fairy away that has bad intentions, you can set up parameters.
Well, there's lots of things you can do to avoid negativity and bad things. There's a certain thing. It's like it's a law. A cosmic law, I could say, that if you put up a certain barrier, and it's a positive barrier, the negative cannot cross. You set up the barrier and make sure that no negative thing can enter your home at all.
Basically, it's visualizing something, an energy field in place.
Yes, visualize your energy field in place that surrounds your entire properties, your area, your zone, and then only positive can come through.
That's what you say. And even though it seems like you're just making it up,
it's true.
It really does work.
Oh, yes.
I know. That is what you need to do.
Yes, exactly.
She asked how you invite the good ones. Well, then the good ones will come in. You need to let them know that you are aware of them.
Yes.
That you appreciate them.
Yes,
and that you
do
are
something
a good partner in nature.
Exactly. You have to be a good person with the recycling and all that other crap, and try to help the world. These are things that are important to pixies and to anybody in the elfin realm.
I'm pretty much sure that Queen Emerald has addressed this by saying it would be important who they were.
Exactly.
So
it's your behavior that would draw them to you. Yeah. And then you just, leave things up that an image of a pixie and uphold them with dignity. Mm-hmm. Then you have no problem. They'll be coming to you.
Yes.
Because they're everywhere.
Well, they aren't.
They're not in the middle of the city, though.
Right. Okay. I think we've touched on this already, but how do I let pixies or fairies in general know that I believe in them?
Like I said before, put things up, pixie-friendly things, fairy houses, fairy flags. Mm-hmm. Things of that nature, then they'd know that you're one of us, and that you're one of the good guys.
Okay, now here's another person. Is it true that reading old fairy tales is a good way to connect with the Fae? I've never heard that before. So it sounds like somebody has said that.
Now, it all depends on the fairy tales you're talking about, if they're real ones or not.
Right.
If they're real fairy tales of real fairies.
Then that might, reading that cause any...
They would realize that you understand, then you know that they are real.
If they happen to be around, it's not going to draw them from somewhere.
No, it's not like a magical chant or something. That's not going to happen.
She said, we live in an old cottage-style house on Lake Erie, and usually strange occurrences happen, such as knickknacks being missing or found in odd places, little figures running across the carpets seen by my sister, and seemingly invisible things that drive my dog crazy. Could this be attributed to pixies, given the location and age of the house, which is about 90 years old?
I think that what you're talking about there, especially when I see them running across the
carpet?
Yeah, they're related to the pixies, but they're the ones without the wings.
Brownies.
You got your brownies there.
But they're still small things.
They are, and they love to do stuff like that. They're jokesters. Brownies are a little bit more jokesters than the serious...
Pixies are quite serious at times.
Yes, exactly. But they are more jokesters and they like to pull pranks.
It's time for Ask Mr. E. Today, Mr. E is going to answer 2 of your questions. If you have a question you want answered on a future podcast, go to our website at www.realfairies.net. There, you'll find our podcast page where you can record your question. Our first question is from Jane, and she's wondering what pixies look like.
Hello, Mr. E. My name is Jane. I have about 2 questions for you. Do pixies have eyes like humans? If not, how do their eyes look like? And as for their wings, are most of them same shaped?
The wings do vary from area to area.
Really?
Yes. There are sometimes you'll find them with more like a dragonfly wing than to what we'd call the butterfly version.
Is one more common than the other?
No, they're all just different.
So in Lakeside, for example...
There might be more dragonfly ones.
From Lakeside. But the pixies that came from Fyn, what do they look like?
They're different. Finian pixies, they have wings that are butterfly-ish, but they're not butterfly wings.
But they're shaped like butterflies?
Kind of. More or less like that. Almost as if you had an angel wing only without the feathers.
I guess that's as close as we can come to
yes.
that. The colors vary?
Yes. It varies from family to family on what the colors of their wings are going to be. And the shape of the wing goes along with the tribe. Finian pixies that are under Queen Emerald would look similar.
Do they have patterns on their wings like butterflies do?
No. They have one solid color.
That's interesting.
Sometimes they're natural colors.
They don't have pink hair, pink wings?
Yes, they could have pink hair and pink wings. It's very easily done that way. And it would be naturally pink hair.
What do their faces look like?
Well, they do have sharp features.
Would they have a pointed type of a nose or a small nose?
A small nose, but it's very angular.
Does the iris look different? Actual eye?
Oh, yes. They have how do you describe? Well, the closest I can come to is, you know how cats' eyes are?
Yeah.
They're more like that. Because they like to be able to see in the dark when they fly in the dark. Uh-huh. So they've got to have special eyes.
Okay, and what about their skin tones?
Their skin tones...
vary, or...?
Saying that pixies from here...
Uh-huh.
From Lakeside,
yeah,
look a lot different from the pixies from Fyn.
Well, how do the ones other than the wings, how do they look different?
Their skin's different. They're a little bit darker, and they've got more of a different tint to their skin.
Okay. The next question is from Alia, who is wondering what type of beings she saw in her house.
So in my old home, there were really weird things that happened. Like one time, me and my best friend, like this is when we were younger, right? And we were playing on the couch, and like we were just bouncing off. And then this one time, she just bounced off, and there was like this fern-looking plant there, and like it was different from all the plants in my house. So, and I asked her if she wanted to get one, and she said no. So I put it in a vase and put it on top of a dresser, and I left it there. And this happened in the span of 3 days. So after that, when she left, I sat on the couch in my living room, and this elf-looking figure like zigzagged across the room and went into my legs, and then it just disappeared. And this other time, when I was in the bathroom, this sparkling-looking orange dot thing was like flying around my towels, and when I went closer to look at it, it just went into the towel, and it was just gone. And this other time, when my mom was cooking, this fairy-looking figure was like sitting on a shelf, and when I went near it, it like dove into the floor, and like the floor like rippled like water. And I think that was a fairy because like it had wings, and it had like, it was kind of blue, and it just dove into the water, and I mean not water, but like the floor, and it just rippled like water. So I don't know. And the fern disappeared after that.
Okay, what do you think of that?
Okay, well, there's a lot of things to see here. Let's go back to the dome and to the ground. The gleam seemed like water, but it wasn't. Well,
Yeah.
Okay, I can tell you what's going on with that. Is that on that side, our side,
Yes.
it is water. And that's what you're seeing.
So would this be a Gehring?
I'm pretty sure it's a Gehring of some sort.
Uh-huh.
It may not be an actual Gehring from Fyn. I'm sure there's other breeds of them elsewhere called other things.
And because it showed like water ripples, you
Yes,
think
that's
that
what I'm
that's...
thinking. It's definitely one of those.
Okay.
Now, the zigzagging thing that went into her leg, now, I have a question for that.
But we don't have an answer.
But we don't have an answer for that. But I'm saying if it was flying, chances are it was, in fact, a pixie. But if it was not flying, I would say that was brownie action.
And they're going back into their own dimension,
Right.
their own world.
Exactly. They didn't necessarily go into your leg,
Right.
but the hole to where they need to go was in your leg.
Right. Exactly. Same thing with the little orange thing that went into the towel.
Right, exactly. It went back into its realm.
Right.
But in that one, for sure, I would definitely say that was Pixie, because it has all the ear markings of a Pixie right there.
Yep.
The sparkly orange thing, and sometimes they're orange, sometimes they're other colors. Seen them shooting across the room and trailing things behind them and all these things. So yes, that is definitely, we've got Pixie.
Right. And about the fern, I don't really understand
the question about the fern.
Me either.
Was the fern there and then not there? I don't think that they can take a whole fern away if you just got a Pixie.
Right.
So I'm saying maybe some adult or something removed the fern for some reason.
Yeah. As promised, we're going to end our Pixie podcast with Queen Emerald answering some final questions about pixies and their relationship with humans. Mr. E has said many times that pixies, of all the types of fae in his world, are the most commonly seen by humans because they can get through the holes in the veil.
Correct. We can make ourselves small enough to go through the veil.
Why do you want to? Let's hear that's so interesting or attractive.
Sometimes we don't know we're going through the veil when we go through, and it's accidental.
If that's true, is it hard to get back?
No, it's very easy.
You can see your way back.
Yes, but sometimes it's like, oops, there you are.
Yeah.
Oops, I'm going back now,
Okay.
There are times we'd like to come visit here to see what they're up to, because we're curious.
What are you curious about?
Everything.
So you're interested in what humans are doing?
Humans, animals, and other things that we see, and we just watch a lot.
How long do you stay before you have to go back?
Oh, we don't stay for very long. 5 minutes or so, and then we like to leave.
So it's really short.
Yeah, we prefer to stay on our side where the energy's right.
It feels heavier here?
Oh, very.
Does it impede your flying and stuff?
No, it's just different. It's harder to fly, but we still can do it.
Yes, but does that mean you don't have as much power here?
No. But we still have our power and still be able to see us sometimes.
When people do see you, is it because you want them to, or is it accidental?
It could be both.
It can be both. Are there humans that you pick out as interesting and want to check on them from time to time?
Yeah, it all depends on their vibration.
Right. It does so much.
Exactly. They need to have something that we're interested in. If it's just their stuff that they do every day that either destroys them or destroys other people, we're not interested.
So conversely, what are you interested in? What would draw you to them?
Conservation. Kindness. Kindness towards other creatures.
Not just other humans.
Right, but other creatures especially.
Uh-huh.
Then we'll consider talking to them.
Okay, let's say there was someone that was kind of selfish, but really wanted to see pixies. They have a fairy house and other things to attract pixies. Would that work?
They'd have to give me a little more than that. Why do they want to see us?
Just to know that you exist, I guess.
Is it just because of the amazement, or are they prepared to work with us? See?
So you do work with humans?
Yes. We become friends with humans.
So why? Why do you guys do it? Yeah.
Because I think they believe in us more than they believe in most of others.
That's probably
Because when you hear the word fairy, they think of us.
They do. Very
But
true.
there's much, much more to that than that.
You're from the fairy realm, and there's a lot of other fairy residents there. And so
Correct.
you're one of many types. But yes, that is the first thing that they think of. How do you feel about humans communicating with you? Humans are fascinated with pixies, you know.
I don't mind humans communicating with me as long as they respect me.
What would your criteria be? Just respect?
Oh, I respect.
How would somebody go about connecting to you or making you aware that they want to?
Oh,
It's kind of an important question to the humans out there. If they wanted to, what would be a good way to get your attention? Right now, they're trying things like fairy houses.
that's always amuses us.
Does it? It amuses you?
Mm-hmm.
Do you spend time in them?
Yes.
Do you?
If we come this way, we do, yes. We spend lots of time. You have quite a few out there. That
Yeah, we do.
Yes, we love them.
Do you?
We consider that homage to us.
It is, actually.
And we consider that respect. And we like respect.
And so if you see someone who will be doing that, then you know already there might be the kind of person you would be.
Exactly. That'll work.
So what else can someone do to draw you to them? This is something they worry about, they think about a lot.
Be kind. Kindness is very...
Real, genuine kindness.
Genuine kindness goes a long way.
Selflessness, care about the planet.
Mm-hmm.
If they're contributing and not taking away.
Right, exactly. They have to be caretakers and not destructors. Destructors, they'll just bumble through life and don't even pay attention to anything, and we wouldn't pay attention to them.
A destructor would be someone who is focused on their own needs, is that right? And not others.
Right, some of them are just because they just don't understand.
Right.
They're totally unaware. They walk around totally unaware of what they're doing and how they're doing it.
Susan and I have a good friend that has a theory that fairies in general, not just pixies, are more likely to approach those who have worked with animals, taken care of animals.
Yes.
Rehabilitated animals, whatever.
Oh, yes,
There's a strong
yes.
connection of caring for animals.
Animals, especially wild ones. That will definitely attract our attention. Not just animals, but plants.
Right. Do you, as people think, take things in our world and remove them?
Well, we like to borrow.
Do you like to borrow? Do you like to just mess with people's minds, too?
Yes, it's fun.
Is it kind of like, what are they going to think? Will they start to think that there are maybe fairies in the house?
Exactly. It's fun.
Thank
It's
you.
entertaining.
That wraps up our second podcast. Thank you for joining us today. And thank you for all your wonderful questions. We answered as many as we could, but try as we might, we just couldn't fit them all in one podcast. If we didn't answer your question today, please stay tuned, and we will answer it soon in a future podcast. More from Mr. E and Queen Emerald can be found in our upcoming book, Interviews with the Fairy Realm. You can sign up to be notified when our book is released at www.realfairies.net/ourbook. Thanks again, everyone. We look forward to seeing you next month.